So, today we're going to dive into something really cool. It's an AI system that's learning to browse the web in a completely new way. It's called Recon-Act, and its whole goal is to stop AI from just, blindly following orders. Instead, it teaches it to think, to explore, and to adapt, a lot more like you and me. Okay, let's kick things off with a problem that I'm sure you've run into. You ask your smart assistant to do something that seems pretty simple, right? Like, hey, find me a used car under 10 grand with leather seats, and it just falls apart. It starts clicking the wrong buttons, completely misunderstands the website's layout, and then boom, it just gives up. So what is going on? Why do these supposedly smart assistants get so incredibly confused online?
All right, let's get into it. To really understand the breakthrough here, we first have to get to the bottom of this core limitation. What's holding today's browser agents back?
So here's the thing. The biggest problem is that most AI agents are pretty much just clicking in the dark. They're built to rely on this constant trial and error, just hammering away at a problem, hoping something sticks. And this leads to these really fragile, messy chains of actions, and honestly, more often than not, it just leads to total failure, especially if the AI has never seen that website before.
So the researchers behind this got inspired. They looked at a super simple behavior that all of us do pretty much automatically whenever we hit a new website. And it's the total opposite of that random trial and error.
And this is where the genius behind Recon-Act comes in. It's all about how we browse. Think about it. When you land on a new web page, you don't just start clicking on things randomly, right? Of course not. You scan the page, you get the lay of the land, you form a little mental plan, and then you start clicking. It's that simple but incredibly powerful look before you leap strategy. So what you're seeing here is a huge shift in thinking for these web agents. We're moving away from that inefficient, brute force approach and moving towards something way more strategic, something modeled on us. Reconnaissance first, then action. The whole idea is to observe and plan before you execute. And this one change, well, it could unlock a whole new level of what web automation can do.
Okay, so how does Recon-Act actually pull this off? Well, it's designed like a super specialized team, broken into two parts, and each part has a very specific job to do. First up, you've got the reconnaissance team. You can seriously think of them as the detectives of the operation. So when a task fails, they don't just give up and try again. No way. They do this deep dive, comparing the failed attempt with a successful one to figure out exactly what went wrong. And then, and this is the cool part, they create a brand new tool, maybe a simple hint or even a little piece of code, to solve that exact problem.
And then you've got the action team. These are the operatives on the ground. They take your big request, your main goal, and they break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Then they take all that new intelligence and those custom tools from the recon team and actually go and get the job done on the live website.
Okay, but here's the super important point. This whole thing isn't fully autonomous. Well, not yet anyway. It's actually this powerful collaboration between humans and AI. Some of the really key roles, like the analyst, the one who figures out why something failed, and the tool manager are still handled by people. The advanced AI models do all the heavy lifting, the coding and executing the plan. So how do these two teams work together to actually get smarter and smarter over time? Well, it's all about creating this really powerful feedback loop. The whole system is built on this really elegant closed-loop learning pipeline. The action team goes in, tries a task, and maybe it fails. No big deal. The recon team jumps in and analyzes exactly why it failed. Then a new tool gets created to fix that one specific issue. That tool gets handed back to the action team, and guess what? This time they succeed. So every single failure becomes a lesson, a permanent new capability that stops that same mistake from ever happening again. This thing truly learns from its mistakes.
And this whole process creates what the researchers call generalized tools, and they're actually incredibly flexible. A tool might be as simple as a little text hint that guides the AI on its next move, or it could be a full-blown piece of code that automatically handles something specific, like sorting a bunch of items by price on a shopping website. Okay, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But the real question is, does this new look before you leap approach actually work any better in the real world? The answer is a big, resounding yes. They put it through its paces on a really tough benchmark for web agents called Visual Web Arena, and Recon-Act achieved this, an overall success rate of 36.48%. Now, I know what you might be thinking, 36.48%. That might not sound like a world beater, right? But to put that number in perspective, check this out. It totally outperforms all the previous state-of-the-art models like WebDreamer and X-Act. This result basically establishes Recon-Act as the new champion in this field, pushing the whole boundary of what these agents can do. Of course, let's be real, there's still a ways to go. A human doing these same tasks gets it right almost 89% of the time, so there's a big gap to close. But this is still a huge, measurable jump forward. It proves that this whole reconnaissance idea is a massive step in the right direction. But you know what? This impressive result is really just the beginning of the story. It's just one stop on a much longer journey towards a truly autonomous AI agent. See, the people behind this have a really clear plan, a 6-level roadmap to get to full autonomy. And right now, Recon-Act is at level 3. That means the AI can handle the coding part, but that high-level analysis and managing the tools, that still needs that critical human in the loop. So to get to the next levels, level 4 and 5, the big focus is on beefing up the AI's own reasoning and coding skills. The end goal is to teach the AI to handle all that complex analysis that humans are doing right now, making the entire system more and more autonomous, one step at a time. And all of this really leaves us with a huge, fascinating question, doesn't it? We are watching a shift away from AIs that just follow a script to AIs that can actually explore, understand, and learn the map for themselves. So what happens to our digital world when our AI assistants can finally learn, adapt, and master the web all on their own?